गाइस वी आर लाइव राइट नाउ एंड आज मैं सीखने वाला कुछ नया स्किल जो कि है हाउ टू बी अ प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर। ये एक स्किल मेरे लिए सबसे अच्छी लगी क्योंकि मैं कुछ नया सीख रहा हूँ। क्योंकि मेरे को इस बारे में कुछ ज़्यादा नॉलेज मालूम पड़ा एक फॉरेनर के थ्रू। एक फॉरेनर ने मुझे बताया कि मतलब क्या होता है प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर, यू हैव टू बी लाइक दिस समथिंग। तो आज बस स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ। मैंने कुछ देर पहले खाली ये वीडियो देखा था, पूरा कंप्लीट करना है। लेट्स बिगिन, वॉच इट स्ट्रेटली फुल। How I became project manager, no experience, skill required. Let's do it.
For team manager.
Start over.
I am so excited. Manager. I started as a project manager. Now I'm a software team manager and a scrum master and an agile. There's a lot of things I do at my work. We will get to my whole journey, but for now, let's stick to how to get into management role, or really how to get into project management role without any experience. But before we start talking about that, I want to know, raise your hand. Well, you can't really, if you do, then I won't know. So comment below if you are in one of this category. You happen to join an engineering field because your parents told you or forced you into. Two, because you did not score really great, make those mistakes. Or if someone calls you and is like, hey, I'm trying to organize a birthday party, then those are the things you tell them, that do not go to that DJ or do not go to that person for the cake whatsoever. So that's basically a start to end. Like, you get a requirement, plan, execute, retrospective. Obviously there are more steps, but that's basically what the project management is, and that is typically a waterfall model. There are many companies in the United States still follow waterfall model. When I started in my company, we used to do waterfall. Now we that you like this field.
क्या हो गया भाई ये? चलो कोई बात नहीं।
I am so excited to talk about this topic. This is exactly what I do for a living. I'm a project manager. I'm not really a project manager. I started as a project manager. Now I'm a software team manager and a scrum master and an agile. There's a lot of things I do at my work. We will get to my whole journey, but for now, let's stick to how to get into management role, or really how to get into project management role without any experience. But before we start talking about that, I want to know, raise your hand. Well, you can't really, if you do, then I won't know. So comment below if you are in one of this category. You happen to join an engineering field because your parents told you or forced you into. Two, because you did not score really great in 12th or diploma and ended up majburi, like because you had no choice and you had to go into that field. Or three, you chose it because you thought that you liked this field, and then when you started doing it, you realize that you don't like that. I am in one of those categories, and I want to know if you are also in one of those categories. And if you are, then it will make me feel better and might also make you feel better that I'm also in one of those categories. Okay, so what we are going to do is, this is a super big topic to cover. So I'm going to break this into smaller chunk, and each video will lead up to the next video. So you have to watch the entire series. If you watch second part and don't watch the first part, it will not make sense. So the first part, which is this one, we are going to talk about what exactly does project manager do, what are the skill set required to be a project manager, and start and end of a project cycle, and then what skill set you have to have or you need to develop. And then second video we'll talk about my journey, how I went from no project management experience from core computer science to getting a full-time project management job. I actually had a 4 management position before I graduated, so I'll talk about that as well. And then in the final video of this series, we will talk about maybe not even final. I don't know what we will come up with, but in that next part, next part we will talk about what are the interviews, how does the interview look like, how do you apply for this kind of job position. So this is super fun. I'm so excited about this, and maybe I will also bring a recruiter to talk about how they look at project management application and all of that. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's start with very basic. What does project manager do? What's the start, end of the project, skill set, and all of that? So the first thing we need to do is get an example of a project, and I have a very good example. When you were a kid, did you ever organize a birthday party? It's very common. I mean, I'm pretty sure you did. If you did not, did you ever organize a college event or like a building event or Ganesh festival or Navratri or Diwali? Anything? Did you organize like an event in your life? And if you did, then this example will make sense to you. Okay, so let's start with a birthday party. Let's say your best friend's parents told you that, can you organize a birthday party for my kid? So technically, your best friend's parents are your client in a software world. So you are the organizer of birthday party, but in our world, you are the project manager. Got it? Okay, so you are like super excited. You start asking question to the parents that, okay, what do you want in menu? Where is that going to be in the home, or is it going to be separate venue? Do you want DJ? How many people? You start asking so many questions to them, which is what we call it in our project management is requirement gathering, requirement analysis. Basically what you're doing is getting requirements of the client. So that's makes sense, getting requirements from what's the scope of this project. Once you understand the whole scope of the party, they tell you that, okay, we want party outside, we don't want it in the home, there's going to be 50 guests, we definitely want DJ, and here's the budget of the project. So you understand the scope of the project. Once you understand the scope, you go into planning mode where you start delegating work. You have your own team. You kind of start telling, hey, you are the organizer of DJ, you are responsible for food, you are responsible for venue, you are responsible for guest list, and you kind of manage all of them. So that's what project manager does. They delegate work and they kind of oversee everything. They are responsible for coordinating what is making sure everyone does their own thing. So similarly, in our corporate world or software world, you will also get a team, and you will have designer, developer, tester, prod, etc., stakeholders, and all of them. Then you start planning for the timeline. By this date, you should order food. By this time, you should have your DJ fixed. By this time, you also manage the budget. You have to make sure that you don't go over budget, because you're not going to put outside your pocket. If they told you the party is going to cost you 5,000 rupees, so you have to make sure everything gets done in 5,000 rupees. Then you plan for plan B, which is your backup plan. If things go wrong, then this is what you're going to do. In project management world, it's called risk mitigation plan. Basically, this is a risk. Like, if DJ doesn't show up, then what are you going to do? You probably will create a music playlist, download the songs, and have Bluetooth speakers so they can play from that speaker. Or you invited 50 people and there might be 75 people at the party because somebody got their parents, somebody got their friends. So that might happen. So you just have to make sure that there's enough food for all of them. So you tell your restaurants ahead of time that there might be possibility that you might get more guests. And those kind of planning, we would call it plan B or backup plan. In project management, we call it risk mitigation plan. It's very important. You have to have a risk mitigation plan. Similarly, in our corporate world, you get a timeline, you get money, you get resources, all of that. So the planning is done. You go into an execution mode. And basically, execution mode is where your team members or you kind of start executing things which you plan, where you start calling restaurants, you start calling different venue, different vendors, different DJ, food items, menus, stuff like that. You start inviting people. So that's kind of an execution. And similarly, in software world, people start working towards the software, they start testing it. So that's called execution. Now, execution in this birthday party will also include the actual birthday party. The day of birthday party, you are making sure that everything is going smooth. So you are coordinating, like if the food is enough, if the guest has everything they need, if the DJ volume, lights and cake is there on the time, and things like that. So you basically are overviewing or making sure that everyone does what they're supposed to do. And as an organizer or a project manager, you also do something amazing, which is called resolving any blockers or showstoppers. Now, what does that mean in our birthday language and then software language? Let me explain you. Showstoppers or blockers are something like, because of this reason, you cannot execute this plan. If DJ doesn't show up, then there can be no music, or the cake doesn't get delivered on time, then you can't celebrate the birthday without cake. Those are showstopper. Like without these things, the birthday won't be happening. So you are like resolving the blockers. You are the resolving any showstoppers. So in our software world, for example, if the website was supposed to go live and something happened to break, then you make sure that at least there should be a login page. So without login page, people can't log in. So that's a showstopper. The website cannot be launched. So that's the things you kind of work, you coordinate with your team. It's just a very simple language. So you kind of coordinate and then you resolve those blockers. Okay, now the party is done. You enjoyed the party. After the party, you and your friends who organized the party, you kind of discuss, this went well, we could have done that better, or we could have done this way. Next time we should do this. Next time we should not order from that food. We should order cake from some. So you kind of discuss the pros and cons, like what went well, what did not go well, and you kind of have that list in your head. In project management, that's called retrospective or lessons learned. So you kind of make the list and make sure when you get next birthday party assigned, you don't make those mistakes. Or if someone calls you and is like, hey, I'm trying to organize a birthday party, then those are the things you tell them, that do not go to that DJ or do not go to that person for the cake whatsoever. So that's basically a start to end. Like, you get a requirement, plan, execute, retrospective. Obviously there are more steps, but that's basically what the project management is, and that is typically a waterfall model. There are many companies in the United States still follow waterfall model. When I started in my company, we used to do waterfall. Now we moved completely from waterfall to agile, which is rapid development, iteration, scrum. There are many names and we will get into those details later on. But overall, in general, this is what project manager does. There are four main skills. The first one is organization, like super organized, and a big vision. Basically, you have to organize every single thing and make sure things go well. You plan for every single thing. You are super detail oriented, and you have a big vision to know who's working on what can this impact to that person and that person to this impact. So that is the number one skill. Two, you are a people person. You understand people. People is super important to you as a project manager. You cannot give someone who is super shy to invite guests. That doesn't work, right? So that's kind of you understanding people and their strength. Then you are super good at communication and coordination skill. If things doesn't get translated, if there's problem in communication, if two people are not talking in your team, you make sure you resolve that. You coordinate activities if someone is not able to get through that. So you let your team focus on that and you go and coordinate with the other people to make sure they get what they need. That, and then the final thing is you are super well organized with process. You have to understand what process the company follows and you follow that process. And the most important skill is to get work done. Like basically you have to make sure work gets done by your team. So if project fails, then it's because of you. And this is a big pro advice to you if you're a project manager or want to become a project manager. Don't ever blame your team for failure of a project. It's usually you who did not manage well. Don't start blaming that because of that person, things didn't go well. I planned it well, but that person did not do it well. So don't really do that because your team will lose faith in you. So instead, just take the blame, accept the failure and accept the mistakes, and then improve in the next project. So that's my biggest advice. And obviously if you win the project or if the project is successful, give super credits to your team, full credit to your team, that because of their work the project was able to be successful. Okay, so now the big question is that, do I need to know technical skills, technical knowledge? No, you don't really need to understand technology, technical skills. If you do know them, that's very good. It's a big advantage. That's what happened with me. I knew technology, so it added to my advantage. But if you don't know, then it's totally fine. You don't have to know all the technical details of it. You have to understand the process, you have to understand people, and then how to make sure the work gets done, and communication skills. Those are the things you need to work on. I'm going to stop here. I wanted to give you the context of a project manager role, skills, duties. But again, remember there are many different types of project manager. There is a technical project manager, IT project coordinator, IT project manager, just general project manager, Scrum Master, Agile project manager. So we'll get to all of this later, but for now, overall, you understood the skill set. So go back and do some introspection. Ask yourself, do you have any of this skill set? Or at least do you enjoy doing planning, scheduling, and coordinating, communicating, any of this, team building, all of this. So you need to have this skill set to be a project manager, to get into management position, because that's what you will do. You will spend endless amount of time in meetings and understanding the requirements and coordinating the efforts, making sure your team to get all the answers they want, making sure they get the work done, reporting back to the manager. So there's a lot of coordination. So do you really enjoy all of this? And if you do, then next video is going to be awesome, because in next video I'll talk about how I went from computer science, core programming, computer science student to a project manager with no project management experience, and how I developed all my profile and skill set to get 4 job offers before I graduated. This is part 2 of how I got into project management. If you haven't watched the first part of this video, then you should go and definitely watch that one. But if you don't want to watch it, still okay, doesn't matter. That's fine. Okay, so before we actually get into the main topic, I have a special announcement. The announcement is that I now finally have an official introduction to all my YouTube videos, which is so cool. But the best part is that one of the subscribers, his name is Pallav Doshi, he reached out to me on Instagram, and now we are friends, which is good. He asked me if he can help me with any of the videos. He would love to do some kind of video editing for me. And we brainstormed the idea, and then we came up with that, hey, I don't have any introduction to my videos. Maybe you can help me with that. And he came up with this introduction, which is super cool. I'm so excited to share with you. Pallav, if you're watching this video, I am so happy that you did this. I really loved it. You are super talented, very creative. I really appreciate again, and thank you so much for doing this. Now it's time to roll that intro. So cool. I absolutely love it. Okay, let's get into the main topic. Before that, I have a disclaimer and warning. This is going to be a long video, and also disclaimer is that this video is totally going to be my history, my background of how I came to America and what happened in the first semester, which made me decide to go from computer science to programming, and the challenges I faced in the first semester and all of that. So it's totally my story. If you want to skip my story, totally fine. Come back in the next one. That's totally okay. Let's start with the very beginning. After 10th, I did my diploma in computer technology from Mumbai. All my education is in Mumbai. After my diploma, I did bachelor's in engineering in information technology from DJ Sangvi, Mumbai. And after bachelor's, I got a job in Capgemini as a software engineer, and that was for 6 months. After 6 months, I decided to quit, and then I decided to come for masters. I will make a separate video maybe someday later that I'll share why I decided to do masters, but separate, not related to this topic. And I know some of you are gonna be starting to comment that, bro, you said that you don't have any experience, but you do have 6 months of experience. Let me tell you this, that 6 months of experience as a software engineering does not count anything for project management, especially when you work for multinational company, because they know in America, they know that when you work in such a big company, you will have like a 3 months of training, and then when you quit, you probably after last month you probably don't work anything, so you really have 2 months of experience, which doesn't really matter a lot. So don't start commenting that, just in case. Fast forward to America, I came to Chico, California to get my master's in computer science from Chico State University. And before I actually get into my first semester, I really want to share this with you. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is, actually, let me share first and then I'll tell you my reason. Okay, now when you see me in this video, you see me as a successful professional who is a project manager, who is confident, who speaks good English, who just sounds very confident. I'm not, and you probably are thinking that I'm not like this. I don't have this skill set. Let me tell you this. 5 years back in 2014, I wasn't like this. You can ask all my friends. My English was horrible. I couldn't literally frame a sentence. I like that's probably why I scored 82 in TOEFL. But anyway, that let's not talk about that. I literally could not speak English and I was very conscious about my English. I also had a fear of what other people are going to think. And because of that fear, I would not speak up my thoughts in front of people. And also, let me tell you that I come from a very lower middle class family, and I come from a chawl system. So, my house is like 300 square feet, tiny house. So I was not very privileged child to, and I was not super smart, and I was very conscious. I was very insecure. But but when I came here, everything changed. I worked so hard on my four skills: personal, professional, emotional, mental. I work really hard to build myself and make myself so eligible for all the successes I have. So the reason I am sharing this is because I want to encourage you that if you are in my spot, if you are in my position right now, don't worry. I have done it, and if I can do it, so can you. That doesn't matter if your English is not good right now, doesn't matter if you're not smart, doesn't matter if you can't speak in front of people. All these skills you will be able to develop over time, but you just have to work hard. And I share all of this on my Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, you should follow me on Instagram, on testing English skills. And that also proves that my English wasn't great, so I failed that, and we had to take that class as a preliminary mandatory class to have an master's degree. So I had to take that. So I had 4 classes. Okay, at the end of the semester, I did so much of programming. Literally, like, I can tell you that 6 months of programming I did in my first semester. I must have done that total in 3 years of diploma and 3 years of my bachelor's in India. In India, we do so much theoretical knowledge. We never do hands-on practical. And in America, you will literally write code for every single thing. Like, trust me when I say this. For computer architecture, you have to design architecture of the computer. You have to write code for it. For operating system, you have to write code to make an operating system, to make a kernel system. All of this, you have to learn Linux and all of that. I'm not kidding. You have to write code for that. For data structure, you will get assignments. You remember all these algorithms like binary search, shortest path algorithm, graphs, and heap sort and bubble sort and all of those. You have to write program for that. And it's not just as simple as like write a program for binary search algorithm. It is like in a question format. Like, for example, it will be like a person has an electric car which can drive 200 miles, and there are charging station at every other stops. Find the shortest path to reach to the destination, and the destination distance is 1,000 miles or something. So he has to take 5 pit stops. Anyway, the point is that they will customize each assignment like this, and there are conditions you have to meet all the conditions. In fact, I actually wrote a multiplayer game in my system programming class. So all this kind of programming you will do. Anyway, my point is that after doing so much of programming in my first semester, I spent like 8 hours, more than 8 hours, 10 hours, days and nights. I realized that I don't enjoy programming at all. So let me clarify this. There are 2 types of people. One, who know programming, who can do programming, but don't really enjoy. Meaning, you know how to clean the house, but you don't really enjoy cleaning the house. And the second kind of is like the person who don't know anything about programming, who don't know ABC about the programming. That's why that person doesn't like programming. Basically, you don't know how to clean the house, and that's why you don't like cleaning the house. I'm in the first category. I can still write the program. Obviously, that's why I have master's degree. I can still make apps. I can still make websites. Reminds me about website that my website is www.udj.com. Go and subscribe yourself. It's coming soon. It's launching very soon. It's very amazing. So I can still do all of this, but I don't enjoy that. I can spend time working on it, but that's not something I would enjoy. I will feel miserable after doing that. That doesn't make me happy. So anyway, I was continuing with my semester, and a career changing moment happened in my life. I have made a very detailed video about what happened in this situation. You should go and watch that if you want the full detail, but I'll give you a short summary. There was a lady who was 53 years old. I'm repeating, there was a lady who was a 53 years old in my data structure class. That doesn't really happen in India, right? So I went up to her, very curious. I asked her, like, why are you in this class? Like, what brings you here? And we had this conversation. After the whole conversation, if you want to listen to that conversation, go watch that video. But after the conversation, she just said, she gave me advice. She said, in your life, you are going to spend endless hours of time working in the office. So better make sure that you really enjoy doing something you like. If you don't like something doing at work, if you hate it, if you don't enjoy it, your life is going to be miserable. So better spend your time and love what you do. And that's why I have that thingy over there. Do what you love what you do. So anyway, that's when I made that. But I just want to tell you that trust me, like, that was my career changing moment. That statement hit me so hard that thing like made me realize that this is something I should think about. So I went home, I shut my door. It was my bedroom. I came into my bedroom. I realized that I'm in a mess. I decided to do masters in computer science, but I don't enjoy programming. Good thing is that I realized that because I did so much of programming. That's how I realized it. But the bigger problem was I don't know what I enjoy. Like I didn't know what I really like doing it, because we have this misconception that we can only get in software developer, software engineer, web developer jobs after doing masters in computer science. So that's how I was thinking, that I don't really like doing this. I don't really enjoy pro. So what am I gonna do? And I didn't know what are the other roles available if you do computer science masters. And there are so many things, literally so many things you can do. So, and I actually made this video that jobs which are available which does not require programming. You should go and watch that video. It's my second or third video. My point is that after that, I researched a lot on what can I do with computer science. That night itself, I did not sleep that night. I looked up and then I came up with there are ERP tools and there are CRM tools like SAP, Salesforce, which are like still technical roles. You just understand the system and build the system, customize the system, but does not require programming. You can be an admin of those tools. There are like DevOps and there are quality assurance and all of these roles I found out, and I was like, that made me feel a little bit okay. That's when I decided that, okay, I have two choices. One, I can switch my major from computer science to MIS in my college itself, because that's where they were teaching all these SAP tools or CRM and ERP tools. Or I can stick to computer science and build myself up to these positions which require the skill set, and build my profile, make myself eligible for all these roles which require different skill set than just computer science skill set. Of course, the first one, changing the major, was like adding more fees to me because I already finished computer science one semester. So I had to redo the whole master, like four semester. Plus I had to take some prerequisite because I didn't have that in my bachelor. So it was very expensive. So I decided not to do that. And I decided that I am going to stick to computer science, but I am going to build myself up to the position where I am eligible. I'll build my skill set that I can apply to all these different positions. And after that semester, my whole career changed. I did so many different things on campus. I participated in a lot of different things. I built my skill set, and this is where I'm going to stop this video. But in the next video, I will talk about how I built myself up from this point where I decided that, okay, I want to get into management or different role set which does not require programming, and how I built myself profile, my skill set, and then finally getting like 4 job offers and internship into project management. In fact, project management wasn't even the picture. Business analyst, I didn't even think about it, all these roles, because I didn't know about those things. So I didn't know this was discovered while I was building up my skill set. So come back in the next video, we'll talk more about this in detail. And again, this was purely my story. That's why I said in the beginning that you can skip it, but I really want you to take this story and really encourage you that even if you're in my spot, you can do it. Trust me, you can do it. It's, and a lot of people are gonna be like, you're one of 1%, not 99% people can't do it. They can't do it because they are not willing to do what I did in my masters. So trust me that you can do it, and I promise you, if you follow the steps I'm gonna give you, you will be able to be get into management positions. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Until our next one. Software team manager and a scrum master and an agile. There's a lot of things I do at my work. We will get to my whole journey, but for now, let's stick to how to get into management role, or really how to get into project management role without any experience. But before we start talking about that, I want to know, raise your hand. Well, you can't really, I mean, if you do, then I won't know. So comment below if you are in one of this category. You happen to join I am
Hi, we're so excited that you're here. I'm Emilio, and I'm a program manager on the Responsible Innovation team here at Google. And I'd like to officially welcome you to Google's certificate program in project management. Let's start with a simple exercise. Take a moment and think about some of the different tasks that you've completed in your life. Maybe you planned your wedding or a birthday party, or you filed your annual tax returns. Maybe you moved from one state to another, or maybe you're the family member who somehow every year is tasked with organizing the annual family reunion. Believe it or not, you've been developing all kinds of skills through these tasks that'll help you become a successful project manager for any organization or your own business. With this program in project management by Google, we've put together a set of courses, activities, quizzes, and exercises that'll teach you the fundamentals of project management. And of course, help you get a job or advance in your career. Wondering how I started my own career in project management? Well, in college, I always gravitated towards things that were more hands-on and action-oriented and less theoretical. I wanted to make an impact in whichever career I took on. So my first job out of college was as a Spanish and leadership teacher in Los Angeles, California. My main objective in guiding the student leadership team at the school was to identify, mobilize, and inspire the student leaders. After 2 years of teaching, I realized that the moments when I felt the most energized were when I was building a vision for how to get a big project done, or when I was working to bring different groups together around a common goal. That's when I realized I had a lot of core project management skills, and I could focus on growing and developing them in the business world. I'm grateful that I get to be here for the start of your journey. When I was first starting to think about my career, project management wasn't even on my radar. It was one of those professions that I didn't even know existed until I entered the business world and experienced how great of a need there is for folks who are organized, action-oriented, diligent, and strategic. I hope that by the end of this program, you'll be as excited as I am about the prospects of a career in project management. Okay, let's get into it. We'll start with an important question. What exactly is project management? Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to meet the project requirements and achieve the desired outcome. It's possible that you've been project managing every day on some level without even knowing it. In this course, you'll learn how to hone those skills to become a truly great project manager. And the awesome thing about project management is that it spans a lot of industries and company types, and it doesn't require deep technical knowledge. This means that any job or life experience you've gained so far will help you in building those skills to become successful in a project management career. There are a lot of people around the world like you who are hoping to learn the skills to get a project management role. Whatever your reason for being here, we're glad you've joined us. This program is rooted in a belief that a strong foundation in project management can help anyone start a great career as a project manager. This program includes 6 industry-relevant courses that focus on topics like project management fundamentals, goals, objectives, and deliverables, risk management, team dynamics, project management methodologies, data-driven decision-making, and more. Each course is made up of personal anecdotes, reading materials, quizzes, and case studies. And you can go through the program at your own pace, skip the sections that you might already know, and review the videos again if you need a refresher. You'll be doing a lot of hands-on learning. You'll build project plans and timelines. You'll learn how to manage budgets and meet the needs of the people involved in the project. And you'll learn different project methodologies like Agile, Scrum, and Waterfall. You'll use tools like Kanban and learn about project management software like Asana. You'll also develop your soft skills, some of which you likely already have. Don't worry, even if you aren't quite sure how to tap into them yet, we'll explore which skills are transferable to a project management role. Above all, this program will help get you ready for a new job. But we're taking it one step further. When you complete this program, you'll have the opportunity to share your work with Google and other top employers aiming to hire project management professionals. And the best part is, you'll have professional work examples you can share with them to showcase what you've learned. Along the way, you'll hear from Google employees like me. We'll share personal stories about how we became project managers and how our foundations in project management launched our careers. We'll also share what we do at work every day and give you tips for job interviews. We've got a truly amazing group of course instructors for you to learn from. Ready to meet them?
Hi, I'm Juanne, a Senior Program Manager on Cloud Security Programs. I'm your instructor for Course 2, where we'll learn more about what's needed to set the stage for a successful project.
Hey there, my name's Rowena, a Senior Program Manager in Google Cloud. I'm your instructor for Course 3, Project Planning, Putting It All Together, where we'll learn about the importance of thorough project planning, identifying key milestones and dependencies, documenting project plans, scheduling, budgeting, and risk management.
I'm Elita, a Senior Engineering Program Manager at Google. And I'm your instructor for Course 4, Project Execution, Running a Project, where we'll learn about communicating effectively, managing risks, understanding team dynamics, using data to inform decision-making, and tracking progress.
Hi, I'm Sue. I'm a Technical Program Manager for Google's Support Platform. I'm your instructor for Course 5, Agile Project Management, where we'll gain a deeper understanding of Agile project management, including principles and practices, the benefits and costs of Agile transformations, the dynamics of Agile teams, and the process of running sprints and releases.
And I'm Dan, a Program Manager in Google Research. I'm really excited to be your instructor for Course 6, Applying Project Management in the Real World, where we'll take all the knowledge, skills, and understanding you've built up throughout this certificate and apply it to an advanced project scenario.
Ready to get started? Let's go.
In this reading, we will learn about the program structure, course functionality. Where specifically inside the program you have to explore to help every type of learner successfully finish the certificate and get ready for a role in project management. No previous experience is required. In the first course, you will learn the fundamental of project. Let's go to the night.
So far, we've previewed what you can expect throughout this program. In this video, we'll discuss the details of this course, and you'll have a greater understanding for which types of jobs are suitable for learners like you. We'll cover some key project management terms and the roles and responsibilities of any entry-level project manager. Plus, we'll discuss the kinds of jobs you can pursue after you complete this program. One thing you'll learn soon is that there's other roles and jobs outside of just project manager that this program will prepare you for. Later in this course, we'll have a video on how to search for those roles and how to view project management as both a position and a skill. But for now, we'll start by going even deeper into what a project is, what a project manager is, and what kinds of skills they have. We'll provide real-life examples to help illustrate that you probably already have learned some of the skills required to become a successful project manager. Then, you'll learn more about adding value to projects and tips on being a successful project manager from real-life Googlers. Pretty exciting, right? We'll also cover the project's life cycle. You'll learn all about a project's different phases, the corresponding tasks in each phase, different methodologies for completing tasks, and which is effective for a given project. And finally, you'll learn about different types of organizational structures and cultures, and how they impact project management. Coming up, we'll start exploring the concept of a project and the project management field as a whole. Are you ready to crank things up a notch? See you soon.
Did you know that learner tends to succeed and get more out of the program if they set their intention to complete it upfront? Complete your commitment statement below and reach your goal. This is just for you and not graders. I commit to my goal. I choose to complete the program management profession because I want to earn money. When I run into obstacle or lack of motivation at some point during the program, I will not give up. I will complete the Google Project Management professional certificate. Commit here, put your name, Raj. Helpful resource for get started. पानी कहाँ गए? The Google Project Management certificate will provide you with the new lessons every week. As you have learned, each lesson includes a series of videos, reading activities in video question, practice, test, and grade blah blah blah. Providing feedback on the course content, please remember to give feedback on videos, reading and material. Just open the resource and look for the thumbs up and thumbs down symbol. Click thumbs up for the material that are helpful. Okay. If you want to flag the specific issue with the item, click the share flag icon and select a category and oh my. In addition, take notes is important. In addition, taking notes is an effective way to make connection between topic and get a better understanding of the topic. During this activity, we will ask to complete a few short survey based on the bottom research study to understand how effective the certificate has been for you. Please suggest below for a summary of what each survey will cover. Your survey participation is often but extremely helpful in making this course as effective as possible. There are no incorrect answers, and your response not affect your course experience, scores, or ability to receive certificate or job in any way. Be kept confidential with your name separated by your data. Up next, you will what best describes you yearly earning? भाई यार सब डॉलर्स में है तो भाई लाखों रुपए कमाऊंगा तो 8,000 से 9,000. What is the highest level of education you have? A complete degree, bachelor's degree. Where you a student in any of the following degree? In which country do you reside? India, brother. How would you describe the race or the ethnicity origin? Asian. What is your gender? Woman. Man. Or I prefer not to answer. Let it be, brother. If you decide to withdraw the consent and have your data deleted, please contact your inspector that has. Have you or your spouse served in the military armed force? No. Are you a primary caregiver? Suburban. Do you consent to Google representative for this? Please contact me with the your intro should be given a good idea of who you are and should be 5 to 10 sentences long. Where are you from? I'm from India. I am Raj. Vishwakarma from India. I live in Mumbai. Why do you decide to enroll in this program? I decided I want to learn something great to earn some money. Thanks for operations. Is met by ending of this course. I will earn $1 billion. Rupees International. Thanks for having me on this platform. Amicably. Let's start with a new course.
Hey again, let's get back into it. In this video, we'll define a project, define project management, and explain its value to an organization. Let's start by defining exactly what a project is. A project is a unique endeavor and usually includes a set of unique deliverables. It's also a temporary pursuit. It has a defined beginning and an end. To put it another way, a project is a series of tasks that need to be completed to reach a desired outcome. Reaching that desired outcome takes collaboration and careful planning that keeps the project on track and on budget. That's where project management comes in. Project management is critical to the success of projects both big and small. So let's break it down into the what, the why, and the how. So what is project management? Why is project management an important part of an organization? And how is it vital to a project's success? As I mentioned, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to meet the project requirements and achieve the desired outcome. Project management is valuable to businesses because it helps ensure that a project delivers the expected outcomes, both on time and within budget. To demonstrate what I mean, I'll take you through a real-life example of project management. Imagine a school district signs a deal with a telehealth company to make sure students don't have to miss school for simple health issues like fevers or headaches. The deal will be completed by the end of the school year. The students can now interact with the doctor through a tablet, smartphone, or computer while they're at school. Implementing this technology into the school's procedures is the project. It's got a clear outcome and start and end date. So how is that project managed? Well, this project has several tasks, and each one has to be carefully planned out and tracked or managed in order for the project to be completed. For example, to start, you can organize training sessions for faculty to get them better acquainted with the technology, policies, and procedures. You can budget for tablets, computers, and other vital equipment to facilitate the virtual checkups. And you can maintain strong communication with doctors, the telehealth company, and school staff members, and so much more. To successfully launch the product in the schools, all of those things need to get done, and that is project management. Seems pretty important to an organization's success, right?
Why is project management related? It has sensitivity and relevance.
More and more, companies are starting to understand how project management can save them lots of money and time. Poor project management can lead to trillions of wasted dollars every year for organizations around the world. More specifically, poor project management can lead to 48% of projects missing delivery dates, 43% missing budget targets, and 31% failing to meet an organization's goals. As a company that serves so many different purposes and communities, it's no surprise that project management's a huge part of Google. But here, many of our project managers are described as program managers because they manage multiple projects for specific products, teams, or programs. There's thousands of people here with the job of keeping projects and programs running smoothly, people like me. I'm a responsible innovation program manager. My team is responsible for ensuring that the technology we produce, the research we pursue, and the publications we put out are all done with Google's artificial intelligence principles in mind. I review the processes for each of these types of technologies, and I give ideas for how to continue innovating responsibly to meet our organizational goals. So my job adds value to Google through the core aspects of project management we've mentioned: planning and organizing, managing tasks, and budgeting and controlling costs. Hopefully you have a better sense of what a project is, what project management is, and why project management is an important part of every company, and how it's vital to a project's success. Next up, we'll learn more about what a project manager does. Hey, so we've covered what project management is and why it's important to organizations. Now, let's learn more about what project managers do on a day-to-day basis. Project managers usually follow a process that involves planning and organizing, managing tasks, budgeting, and controlling costs and other factors. Everything they do helps make sure the project can be completed on time and on budget. In broad terms, a project manager also needs to make sure that the project outcome is bringing value to the company. A project manager can add value in many different ways, whether that's creating a new service for customers or modifying an old service so it's more tailored to the customer's needs. No matter what the task is, a successful project will always add value. And it's the project manager's job to make sure that project is both valuable and successful. You may be asking yourself, well, if I'm a project manager, how do I add value to an organization every day? What does the day-to-day life of a project manager look like? Well, a project manager's responsibilities can vary depending on the project, the industry, and the company they're working in. Are you constructing a new building? Are you project managing a renewable energy product in a startup? Or are you setting up your own event management company? Your tasks will be different in each scenario, but here's a general overview of what a typical day might look like. A project manager's daily responsibilities always include some version of the following: planning and organizing. An example of that might be gathering requirements from teammates or customers. This means figuring out what exactly your project's trying to accomplish. You might have a kickoff meeting or send a survey. From here, you may also work on creating project plans. Creating project plans is a key part of project management. It helps set the tone of the project, keeps everyone on pace and aligned, and helps move tasks along. Which leads me to my second point: managing tasks. Once the project is underway, the project manager helps manage tasks for the team members and communicates key milestones to the larger team or customers. This helps keep team members and customers updated on how the project is progressing. The third piece is budgeting and controlling costs and other factors. Managing the budget and controlling costs is a common responsibility that project managers have to understand to keep the project on track and within budget. This is a full-time job because the plan you've created and managed may change, causing unexpected costs to come up. And that's just to name a few. I could go on for days, but the most important thing to know about the day-to-day of a project manager is this: you'll use different tools, techniques, and methodologies every single day. There's never a dull moment.
Yeah, one click. All right.
Personally, my favorite part about being a project manager is that I get to watch the project's growth from start to finish. It's really special to create something from nothing, working from the ground up. It's a really satisfying feeling. As a project manager, you'll use a variety of skills every day, and a lot of these skills you might already have. And we'll discuss this more coming up. See you there. Welcome back. Let's get right into it and explore the variety of skills you'll use. Have you ever been tasked with planning a loved one's surprise birthday party? There's usually a lot of pressure and responsibility, but when you get it right, it feels amazing. That's still true even if there were a couple of issues. Maybe the guest of honor arrived home earlier than expected and nearly ruined the surprise. But if you made someone feel special on their birthday, you probably planned a successful project. As you chose a venue, sent out invitations, and calculated your budget based on your number of guests, you were using several project management skills, like planning and organizing, managing tasks, budgeting, and controlling costs, and more. Or maybe you've never planned a party. Have you ever worked in the retail space or in the service industry? Then you might have experience that'll translate into the project management field too. For example, you might have been in charge of managing several employees' schedules. To do that, you had to plan and organize which employees' work styles would complement each other in a productive way. You also had to make sure that all duties and responsibilities would be covered during each shift. Plus, you had to be aware of all employees' availability. Doesn't sound familiar? Well, have you ever had to relocate for a new job and plan? You also had to make sure that all duties and responsibilities would complement each other in ways which employees' work styles would. To do that, you might have been in charge of managing several employees' schedules. To do that, you had to plan and organize which employees' work styles would complement each other in a productive way. You also had to make sure that all duties and responsibilities would be covered during each shift. Plus, you had to be aware of all employees' availability. Doesn't sound familiar? Well, have you ever had to relocate for a new job and planned a big move? To successfully move all of your belongings, you may have coordinated friends and family to help. You would have had to budget and control costs for moving companies, boxes, and miscellaneous expenses. And you probably packed your boxes one room at a time and clearly labeled the boxes so that you knew what each box was when you arrived at the new place. You had to manage all of these tasks simultaneously. You've likely handled several tasks like these in your lifetime. And in studying project management, you'll learn to further advance and sharpen these skills so that you'll be equipped to manage even bigger, more daunting tasks. The abilities that helped you complete these past projects are a great selling point for yourself as a future project manager. So be sure to bring up these examples in job interviews to demonstrate your skills. For instance, if you're asked questions like, tell me about a time when you had to juggle several tasks at once, or tell me about a time when you had to influence a customer or a teammate, it's good to have examples that demonstrate your skills with time management and leadership in both your everyday life and previous workplaces.
Reflect on a project you recently completed or an event.
Are you thinking about all of the skills that you already have and can use in your future project management role? Perfect. Up next, we'll learn more about the types of project management roles that you'll be qualified for. Perfect. Already have? Are you thinking about all of the skills that you already have and can use in your with time management and leadership in both your everyday life and previous workplaces? Are you thinking about all of the skills that you already have and can use in your future project management role? Perfect. Up next, we'll learn more about the types of project management roles that you'll be qualified for after this program. We'll also discuss how to start exploring the various job opportunities out there for you. See you soon.
Hey everyone, my name is X, yes, just the letter, and at Google, I'm a program manager for a department called Responsible Innovation. Most of us in our everyday life use program management. When you have only a couple hours left in a day and you have to figure out, well, do I clean my house or do I go to the grocery store and how long will each of those tasks take? Those are just different elements or variations of program management and project management. My path to program management is pretty non-traditional. I didn't go graduate from a great college. In fact, I dropped out of high school and I dropped out of college. So a GED is like the highest credential that I have. So after I dropped out of high school, I taught myself how to code. I built a whole bunch of websites, but realized I didn't have the responsible skills to make me a mature adult. So I ended up joining the military. After spending 8 years in the Army, I traveled the world building apps for really big companies and governments around the world. When I came into Google, I realized I could still be technical, but then I'm just using the skills I already have. So how can I grow myself as a person by learning new skills? And that's when I heard about the program manager role. The program manager role at Google is super cool because it varies depending on which team you're on. So if you're a program manager in Google Cloud, that could look very different than being a program manager in YouTube. That switch up and that change from coding all day long in front of a computer screen was something that was really, really attractive to me. Some of the biggest skills from my past and my history that helped me become a program manager and make that transition from somebody who was managed by program and project managers to actually becoming one myself was taking a little bit more accountability in my personal life. There's lots of things I want to learn in life, and I started doing things like making schedules to practice, like different instruments, like the bass guitar. In each of my roles, whenever I worked with a project or program manager, I also made sure to check in with them about why they were doing what they were doing. I'm someone who doesn't really learn from books, if you can't tell by me dropping out of school. So I always found somebody who was willing to teach me why they were doing what they were doing, because that's how I learn. I tend to be more kinetic. I learn as I go. Program management to me was a natural calling. Not because I like to run around and make sure everyone, tell everybody what to do, but because I have a real personal passion for bringing people together and getting everybody on the same page to move towards the same goal. Whether that's convincing all my friends to go to my favorite vegan spot in downtown LA like 4 times a week, or whether that's getting us all together to resolve conflict or to work on an idea and collaborate on projects on the side together. Those skills that you use in your everyday life to keep your tasks together can apply to program and project management very easily. You just have to be a little bit more intentional around them, and there's a lot more paperwork involved.
कल कंटिन्यू करूँगा भैया बस लेकिन आज पढ़ाई इतना बस हो गई तो आज इतना पढ़ाई बस है इसको बुक मार्क कर देता हूँ क्लोज सी या होप कोई तो व्यूज़ नहीं आए होंगे लेकिन भाई पता है पाए तो PMI और क्या चाहिए।
Management as both a position and a skill. But for now,